PGA Tour Champions Learning Center. Brought to you by Tour Edge Exotics.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Learning Center. I'm Vince Cellini, hoping you are safe and well. And this is an exciting time because PGA Tour Champions is returning. The restart is happening at the Ally Challenge at Warwick Hills in Grand Blanc, Michigan, starting this Friday. And our special guest is a PGA Tour winner at that historic venue. And he was off to a really good start before the interruption as we welcome in Woody Austin. Woody, how are you?
All right, Vince, how are y'all?
I'm good. Thank you very much. So what have you been up to during this time off? How are you staying busy?
Unfortunately, my wife has had me doing a hell of a lot of projects. I've done a lot of projects. And, that took probably the first 3 months. This past month has been a little less on that end and kind of a little boring in that, I'm now at the point where I'm ready to go. I want to get back going. Luckily, about a month and a half or so ago, the bowling alleys and stuff here opened up, and I used to bowl when I was a kid, and so I've actually bowled a lot the last month and a half. So I've actually gotten my juices going just from bowling. So it's been kind of fun.
How good is your bowling game? How good a bowler are you?
I'm okay. I've actually gotten back into the rhythm. I think right now I'm averaging close to probably between 215 and 220.
That's impressive.
I've been shooting probably consistently. I'm shooting probably no worse than probably 210, and then I think I shot 267, which was a pretty good game. But I'm real boringly consistent, kind of like my golf game, in that I don't have anything flashy. I don't have. I'm an old-fashioned bowler because I took 27 years off between when I bowled when I was a little kid, and then there's a lot of Wichita State is one of the top bowling colleges in the country, and I got to meet a lot of those guys over the last years, and they're all professionals now. Sean Rash, who's like top 5 in the world. So I've gotten to know a lot, and they all play golf. So I started bowling again. And so then they started giving me bowling balls. And so it's kind of, and I don't know if you realize, but at the last year, I started carrying a Storm bowling golf bag for them because they've been so nice to me.
Oh, great.
So I actually have a Storm bowling golf bag. So I kind of help them out that way while they give me balls, and it's kind of been a lot of fun.
Are you a fan of the movie Kingpin?
Yes, yeah, it was a funny movie. Woody Harrelson was pretty good in that one.
Come on, Murray steals the movie. So, but
yeah,
at least Big Ern McCracken. At least I know now. I'm not going to take the hook from you on any bowling alley. So thanks for the heads up. I'm not going to be your
I'm
fish.
Okay.
Yeah, you are.
I'm not no stud, but I'm okay.
No, it sounds like you're better than okay. How about the golf? I understand you kind of stayed away from playing a little bit, didn't you, during this time?
Yeah, I'm not a big practicer. Like I said, I've learned this game way different than most people. Even when I started, even though I started late, I didn't start till high school, and then I grew up on a little podunk public golf course, no driving range, no practice facility, a putting green and a chipping green. But so the only way I learned how to play golf was to play golf. So I would have to join up on the first tee with whoever was out there who would be willing to play with a little skinny little runt. And so I'm used to playing golf. And if I'm not interested in playing, I'm not practicing. So, through this time here, the only time I played is when my boys wanted to play. So, I didn't until this past week when I knew we were 2 weeks out and I needed to start practicing a little bit. I don't know if I played 10 times in that entire 4 months.
But, guys from our era, we didn't go out to play to practice. We played. You played and you got better by being in game situations for anything. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. 100%. Like I said, I one of the things I hate about today's game is every time you guys show like before the tournament starts or whatever, is how many guys have their coaches and everybody on the driving range every single week. And you talk about how this guy struggled and he had to fly home to see his teacher and get him back. Guys just don't know how to play golf anymore. Not to mention they don't even play golf anymore. They just hit it really far and then kind of do whatever. But, the art of playing golf is lost in today's game. And it's kind of sad.
I want to get to that in a moment and talk about this whole distance debate. But I understand for you, upon returning, it's going to be a new mode of transportation. So tell us about hitting the open road and what's ahead for the whole Woody Austin entourage.
Yeah, we're actually pretty excited. My wife and I decided, since we were going to be back for, I believe we're going to be back for like 10 tournaments in a 13-week span. So obviously that's a lot of travel, but we're still a little skittish on the airlines and hotels and whatever. So my wife was like, I really don't want to travel that way. And she's finally able to travel every week if she wants. And so we decided to purchase an RV. We didn't go elaborate or whatever, like, some of these big giant buses or whatever, but we bought us a nice little 35-foot motor coach. We're really excited to see what it's like to travel and have a few days off in between tournaments instead of sitting in hotels to go to next week. We can actually say, hey, let's go look at, I think we went to Goodland, Kansas, and we saw the largest easel in the world. So now we're like, okay, we're going to see stuff like that. What's the largest yarn and, ball. And so we were cracking up about that already in Goodland, Kansas, we saw the largest easel in the world.
I love that. You will come across all of those oddities around the country. Exactly. I think it's great because your wife Shannon also, she's going to share in the driving, right? She took a driving course in order to do that to her best.
Yeah, she was very, when I drove to Goodland, she hadn't, had the class where she was very scared. She's like, I'm okay on the highway. But don't get me to where, because it's especially if you've never driven it. Luckily for me, we had a camper when I was a kid back home in Florida. That's kind of how we did our summer breaks and stuff. So I'm used to driving big stuff. So it didn't bother me. So I was fine, but she was real skittish. And we found this company, and this gentleman came in and gave her a 2-day course and really went through all the basics and all the things and really gave her a really good sound foundation. And she's really excited. She's not scared anymore to drive in the city. So like I said, she as she puts it, she's got her little decal that says, I passed the driving class, RV driving class. So she's all excited.
Awesome. That's great. That's terrific. What is the brand of the RV?
It is a Thor, Thor Ace 33.1. So okay. It's a 35-foot motor coach. It's just a motor coach. It's not a bus or it's just a motor coach.
All right. Well, I'm sure folks will be able to see you as you look at the the largest thimble in the United States. You'll stop and see something like that. Woody, let's go pre-pandemic. And back in January, you celebrate your 56th birthday, and you're playing really well. Top 10s in 4 of the first 5, 4 top 10s in the 5 events, and a runner-up at Cologuard. So what was clicking for you at that time? Why were you playing so well?
It seemed like what I was doing was I was actually playing one really, really good round each tournament. And as Tiger would say back in his heyday or whatever, when he was playing bad, he never shot himself. He hung in there and, he may have played like 75, but he shot 70 or 71. And I was doing that. I was struggling, but I was always hanging in there and shooting 1 under, 2 under, even 1 under. And then if you look at, on Sundays, I shot 65 on Sunday at Cologuard. I shot 66 on Sunday in Morocco. So I just really played really good on Sundays after I kind of found it, I guess you'd say, by the end of the week. But I didn't shoot myself in the foot shooting over par on the first 2 days.
I know you like to downplay your game a little bit. You're very humble in that regard, but you're a really, really solid player, and particularly around the greens. I want to talk about your short game as we get to What's Your Edge, presented by Tour Edge Exotics. And it's really been on point, your short game. Ranked in the top 10 currently, #1 in scrambling last year. You're getting up and down around 70%. So what do you play in a lot of the pro-ams? And with the amateur players, what would be your advice to them regarding chipping so that they don't throw those shots away, the ones you're talking about that actually win tournaments and help them shoot low scores? What are some of the common errors that you see?
Well, the biggest thing that you see with most amateurs is they're what I call scoop chippers. So they all chip with their right hand and their right shoulder, because all they think about is, oh, I got to get this ball in the air, but I can't swing at it. So all they do is they sit there and they try and help it up with their right hand and their right shoulder. So I call them scoop chippers.
Right.
And then even when they do hit it properly, they have the ball with zero spin, because there's no way to put any spin on the ball by scooping at it. So the key for me is to try and figure out a way to explain to them how to chip left-handed. For a right-handed player, and for a left-handed player, be chip right-handed. And so I try to explain to them to take whatever logo they have on their glove, like for me it would be the FJ of the FootJoy, and try to tell them that the FootJoy has to go towards your target. You cannot lose sight of it, because that means your right hand made you scoop it. So I try to tell them that when they're chipping, that they should always see the FootJoy or the Callaway on their left hand as it goes towards its target. And if it goes out of sight, that means they flipped it or they scooped it. And that's how that's how as professionals put spin on the ball. And so that's basically what I try to do the most as far as helping them with their short game.
No, that's a great tip. Do you ever, and I see some guys do this, they will actually chip left-handed. They'll actually just do that one-handed.
I practice one-handed a lot. Yeah.
And it just helps reinforce
that's
that.
The key. Absolutely. It's very important, because I mean, even as long as I've been playing this game and whatever, you are right hand dominant. You are a right-handed player. So your right side is going to want to get involved, especially if the ball's sitting down in the rough. Even though you've got to hang on to it with your left hand, your right hand just wants to dig into that rough to get it out. And, you have to fight that. So yeah, it happens. And so it's always important, if you feel like you're not chipping very well, or if you're struggling or whatever, I'll go out there and I'll just chip for, 5-10 minutes, left hand only, nothing else. And I'll hit flop shots, left-handed only. I'll hit bump and runs, just to keep that thought in your head and to reinforce that that's the way to play.
Yeah, and that's how you get those great scores eventually. So we touched on this a little bit earlier. I want to get your thoughts again on the whole distance debate, and where you think this is going, and what you see in the game that you've played and loved for so many years. Jack Nicklaus at the Memorial event back when it was played a couple weekends ago was, he had voiced his opinion. He's been talking about this for 40 years about is it rolling back the ball, because we can't extend these golf courses. You're running out of room. So Absolutely. Where are we in this?
Well, and he's been right. I mean, we're talking about somebody who obviously, to me, is the greatest player of all time. And I think he knows a little bit about what he's talking about. I understand the flip side in that, from the manufacturer's standpoint of, moving forward to sell equipment and whatever. I get all that. But my biggest problem with the game of today is you are supposed to be a professional, which means you are the best at your craft. If you are the best at your craft, why are we constantly making changes to make it easier and easier and easier and easier for you to play? You're supposed to be the best. Why do you need every advantage to look like you're the best? You're already supposed to be the best. So at some point, I mean, it's done in every major sport there is. there is a change from the amateur level or even from the AAA level of baseball to the big leagues. There is a change. You don't keep making it easier and easier for guys to perform on the big stage in the other sports. So why do we keep doing it? And it's sad because we've lost, like I said earlier, golf is not played anymore. It's a game called golf, but they don't really play golf. I mean, when you sit there and you really look at what they do, there's no shot making. There's no control of height of the golf ball. You know, they may hit a draw or whatever, but everything's straight up in the air as hard as you can hit it, as high as you can hit it, as far as you can hit it. You know, you can be, my big thing is you can be one-dimensional in golf now and be the number one player in the world. I think that's sad, that you can be one-dimensional in a sport that used to be so much technique, so much feel, so much strategy and all that went into the game, that now you can be completely one-dimensional and be the best player in the world. And I have a problem with that. I voice my opinion. You know, I get yelled at because I'm old or whatever, and I'm jealous of the young guys or whatever. There were long guys in my game too. You know, I went up. Greg Norman was probably one of the longest, straightest drivers of the golf ball ever. You know, so I still had to play against Greg Norman. I didn't have a problem. I don't have a problem with it because Greg Norman still had to chase his foul balls.
Yeah.
These guys don't chase no foul balls because the golf ball won't allow them to chase. These guys have no earthly idea what a bad shot looks like. And if they did roll back the ball, I could care less if they have 100 times of a club face to hit than I did when I was their age. That's fine. I got nothing wrong with it. But they have no idea what it's like when they hit a ball on the heel or on the toe, what a actual bad shot looks like. And that is sad. I mean, and they sit there and they say, well, these guys are big. You know, the debate is, well, these guys are in such better shape. They're better athletes. They're this, they're stronger. I beg to differ in that I'm 56 years old, and I still think when it comes to actual athleticism, sports athleticism, I'll go up against anybody, even at 56 years of age. I can play every game there is. And it's not that. No, I'm not big. I'm not strong. I'm not going to hit it 350 yards. But if I have to do something physically from a control or a manipulative standpoint, I am as good still as they are. The difference is I got to give up 60 yards, 50 yards, you know, in a game that you can't do that. You know, prime example, everybody's talking about Bryson and the fact that he gained all this weight. The weight is an issue, yes, but what the people are failing to realize is Bryson changed his golf swing. He didn't gain all this yardage because he gained weight. He gained all that yardage because he changed his golf swing. He went from being very controlled and almost swinging inside of a box. You know, his stance was very narrow. His arms were really rigid and straight. To now, if you look at him, he's wide. He's moving his weight back. He's moving his weight forward. He's letting the club go. I mean, it has nothing to do with the 40 pounds that he gained or 50 pounds. He's just actually swinging at it. And it's you know, like I said, it's crazy how just to make things sell or sound great that they got to say that, look at, he's changing the game. No, he's not.
So
not in my eyes, not.
What I'm hearing from you is that we're talking about the ball, essentially.
Yes, absolutely. The golf ball is absolutely the one thing that needs to change.
And
like
tell
I said,
folks
they
about
want to keep making clubs and whatever. So be it. But you know, the golf ball is the biggest determining factor in the game.
Are you talking about the self-correction of the ball?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, watch every shot tracer you guys do. Watch every one of them. You'll see the ball take off, and you might see it move within while it gets to its apex. As soon as it gets to its apex, what does it do? Stops and falls straight down. And I don't care if they pull it. If you watch them, they pull hook it. You can watch Bubba aim 80 yards right, hit his flip cut, Watch the ball cut until it gets to its apex, and then what does it do? It falls straight down. That's why Bubba can still hit a 40, 50-yard cut and still carry it 300 yards in the air. But if he had to play a ball that we used to have to play, it would not continue. It would fall out of the air and continue to go to the left. So that 300-yard carry would now be 250. And then it would also keep going to the left, so he'd also be in the left jump. That's the thing that that Jack's trying to say, and that someone like myself is trying to say. I just want them to see what it really is like to hit a bad shot.
Wow, that's such good stuff. That's really that's strong opinion stuff. Let's get to the return of play for you at Warwick Hills, where you won your first PGA Tour event in 1995 at the Buick Open there. What memories do you have there from that win? And Woody, what do you have to do to be successful at that particular layout?
Well, it's a old-fashioned tree-lined golf course. There's trees on every hole. So you got to drive it straight. Usually we have especially back in the day, we had rough, which they don't grow anymore on the regular tour, which is another thing, but tree line with rough. They found out a little bit this week at Memorial, a little bit of rough and the green's not being so soft. The golf's not quite as easy as they think it is. So you really have to drive it straight there. And if you do, the golf course is there to be had. I mean, there's a lot of low scores. Even us playing there the last couple of years, we've shot some really low scores because if you drive it straight, it's not a long golf course. It's not a hard golf course, but it's a golf course that it's supposed to be. If you play bad, why are you supposed to play good if you're playing bad?
Yeah.
It's like I said, the whole premise of this, let's make it easier on them, it just doesn't make any sense. If you hit it in the rough, it's called rough for a reason. It's not called semi-rough. It's not called, let's just say it's got a little bit higher grass, and allow you to hit whatever shot you want out of it. You actually missed your target, did you not? If you missed your target in any professional sport, you should be penalized.
We're going to talk about the open road now. You're in Derby, Kansas, and you'll be able to drive to a border state in Missouri. The tour recently announced the creation of the Charles Schwab Series. Those two tournaments next month at Big Cedar Lodge. And that's where you team with Michael Allen to capture the 2016 Bass Pro Shops Legends of Golf. So I wanted to ask you about being able to play at Buffalo Ridge and Ozarks National as well, and if you're looking forward to that.
Actually, yes. Like I said, we've been off for 4 months. Obviously, the guys have been going now for 5 weeks. So we're, most of us are chomping at the bit to get back. And, the fact that we've lost some tournaments, we lost Seattle, we lost Canada.
Yeah.
We also just lost Iowa. So, the opportunity to get to play is paramount. And we have such a good rapport with the Bass Pro guys. And so it was nice to hear that we're back there.
We'll look for you on the open road. So happy motoring, and we'll see you in competition.
Yeah, we should have some fun.
All right. Thanks for the time, buddy. We'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks, Vince.
Thank you.